This tutorial is aimed at teachers and is a very quick guide on how to use Google Classroom. If you are a fellow colleague from Wales, the best place to go is to Hub, which is a learning and teaching resource exclusively for teachers and students in Wales. You would go to Google for Education here, or go up to Waffle, Google for Education. It would then prompt you for your username and password again. If you are a colleague from anywhere else in the world, just open up a new tab and type in Google Classroom. Click on the link and sign in. First time that you sign in, it will ask whether you're a student, whether you're a teacher, and ask you to agree to the terms and conditions that Google have. Anyway, either way, you'll end up at a screen that looks very much like this. This is my Google Classroom homepage. I have 5 active classrooms. There's 1, a 2nd, a 3rd, 4th, and a 5th. If you don't, obviously you'll need to create one. So we go to the add sign, the plus sign up here, and we create a classroom. Give it a title, and a classroom will be created for us. You'll notice join classroom. This will become very, very important once the classroom has been created. So we go to the test classroom over here. Notice I tend to go in this way, and I would display this code. The students would need this code to join the classroom. So once you've assigned them or invited them to a classroom, they would then go to the home screen that I originally showed you here, and they would join that classroom here. And they would type in that code. So how do we invite them to the class would be the next question. We go to people and we simply click on invite students and type their emails here and invite them. Once they receive that invitation, they will click on the link and then simply go to the join the classroom and type in the code that we've already seen. So at the very front of the classroom is the stream. This allows me to communicate with the whole class, or actually individuals or certain sections of the class. So I may want to type something on here. There is new work. I can decide which classroom I want that to be posted in and which students I want that to go to. I can send all of them, or I can send it to 1 or 2. As I said, if I send it to 1 or 2, this message would only appear in their stream. It wouldn't appear in all the other students' streams. I then have an option to add. There'll be 4 options here. I'll add a document from Google Drive, a link on the web, a file maybe from my memory stick or my desktop, or a YouTube video. I can either post it or I can schedule it for later. So if I want an announcement to go live at 9 o'clock the next morning, I can schedule it and it will happen remotely. You'll notice there's also a calendar here. This is also on the front of the Google Classroom. I'll show you that in a bit. And when you set work, if you give it a due date, which I strongly suggest you do, it will appear in the calendar. So how do we set classwork? Well, we simply go to classwork. Sorry, I should just post that work there into the stream. There it is. As you notice, the children can now make a class comment and I can reply to them. But setting classwork, we go to classwork and we go to create. There's currently a few assignments, they're called here. This one is live. This one is scheduled for later. So let's create an assignment. 6 options: quiz, question, material we use, or topic. Topic becomes very, very important. The more work you have in your classroom, I will show you why in one of my own classrooms later. But let's create an assignment. And let's call this one PE. Complete the following circuit. And I have the same 4 options we saw in the stream. Something from Google Drive, a link, a file, a YouTube video. Let's put in a YouTube video. We can type in the URL if we know it as well, although you probably wouldn't type, you'd copy and paste it. And let's just call it a circuit. And hopefully we'll have a video that's relevant for our classroom. Circuit workout for beginners here. And I can just simply add that there and it appears in my classroom. I also have the option to create a document. So I create a doc, which is basically Word, a slide, which is PowerPoint, Sheets, Excel, drawings, or forms. Forms is great. It's if you want feedback or you want to create a quiz. And let's add a doc here and give it a title, and we'll just call it circuits. Okay, and then we can click out of here. And although it's still say untitled, when I do assign this, it will say circuits. And I've got 3 important options here. Students can view the file. So this may be additional information that I want the students to have. Students can edit the file. This is incredibly important if you want to create a collaborative doc. So if you want the students to work remotely all at the same time, if you allow them to edit the file, they will be able to go into the same document with each other. I wouldn't use a doc to do this. I'd be more likely to use a slide, or you can make a copy for each student. If you make a copy for each student, it will then be assigned directly into their assignment with their name. So it would say Alfie's circuits, or it might say George's circuits. So they're the three main options. I mentioned about collaborative work. If the main way I would do collaborative work is by having a slide. Okay. And might call that results. Want to know the results from their circuits. Okay. I can simply make that so everyone can edit the file. And although there'd be one PowerPoint, anyone would be able to go into it that'd been assigned that, so they could all work on the same document. Now, importantly, to the right, we have a few options. We can decide where we want this assignment to go, which classroom, if we've got more than one open, which students we want it to go to. Again, very important, particularly if we're differentiating our work. We only may want it to go to the 5 MAT children in our class. We can have points. I tend to leave this unmarked, and I would always select a due date. And if we select a due date, this will then appear in our calendar as well. So I will maybe want this for Monday, and I like to give it a time as well, because I know that now at 6 o'clock on Monday, all that work should be finished, and I'll be able to go into it and have a little look. And the topic. Currently there's no topics on here, but as I said, I will show you what topics look like. Really, really helpful in arranging your work. And now we've only got 2 options left. We can either assign it directly now, or we can schedule it for the future. So we may be working and wanting, right, I want next week's work, and I'm going to schedule it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so it becomes live. But we're going to assign this directly, and it should appear now on the front, on the class work screen. We have 2 live assignments, we can tell, and 2 scheduled, a draft and a scheduled assignment here. So let's click in to PE. You can edit there as well. Same. And this is what it would look like for students. We can see how many have handed it in, how many it's been assigned to. And it's always important, particularly for students, that they go into view assignment. And we can see here the student work. Obviously, nothing's been handed in yet because nothing's been assigned. But if we had assigned this to 14 different students, we would have all 14 of their names, and we would have a very tiny icon of what work had been done or completed. If it had been handed in, exactly the same thing, we would be able to see the icon, and we could click into it for more detailed. If we do click into it, we can make comments on the work, which are private comments. Only yourself as the teacher and the student would see that comment, which is very, very different, obviously, to the stream that we talked about earlier. Another thing that we need to be aware of as well. So as I said, classwork, we can go in and view the assignment there. We can see who's handed it and who's assigned it. We can also go to marks here if we want to look at the student's work. Again, there's nothing here because no students have been assigned to my classroom yet. But any work that you've been set for the students, say you set 5 pieces of work that for the week, there'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns, and it would say either handed in or assigned. And down on the rows here, we would have all the students' name. So as a very quick overview, we could see the entire work that's due for the classroom, whether it had been handed in, whether it had been assigned. So I said we have a quick look at topics as well. So if I click out and go into one of my live classrooms, we go here. And because, as I said, I've given it a due date, this appears here in the calendar in the stream, also at the front. If I go into Mr. Jones's class here, I can see some classwork. And I can see that I have set this into topics. Here is week 2's work. Here is week 1's work. I'll quickly click in, hover over there. Although 30 have been assigned to 30, no one's handed it in yet. That's possibly because I've only just set it. I'm not going to click on view assignment, because if I do, it will go into who it's been assigned to, and there would be children's names there. But it was exactly the same as you'd seen before. But obviously, as I said, because no students been assigned, there was nothing to actually look at. So this isn't obviously into any, and I go view assignment, and it would go straight into the student's work there. So that is a very, very quick whistle-stop tour of how to use Google Classroom. There's only 2 other things I really want to draw your attention to in terms of creating quiz assignment. Okay, there's a blank form, created quiz. Okay, again, instructions, title, click out of there. Question, simply a question that'll give them room to type below. Short answer, multiple choice. If you just want them to read some material, just go to material and add the material you wish them to read. And if you want to reuse an assignment you've already had, that's basically where you would go. And topics, as I said, I showed you how I'd organize them. Now, the only other thing I want to draw your attention to, front screen of the classroom, I keep clicking up here on the waffle because there are lots of different options. Now, this Google Classroom is connected to the hub. If you're using Google Classroom outside of the hub, it will look slightly different. Very, very quickly, the options that you have, and I'm not going to go into any detail, I'm just going to highlight them. Docs we've already looked at, sheets, slides, a calendar. This is really important. You can schedule events in here, appointments. You can even schedule Google Meets in here. So if you wanted to do a conference call with a class, you could quite simply go into calendar, select a new event. Here, there's the plus sign again. And when we're in here, we have the options to add conferencing, as you can see here, and that would be a Google Meet. So as I said, I'm not going to spend too long on this. Google Meet, again, a conference call in which you can share and work on live docs. Sites, I absolutely adore. It's probably the easiest building of a website program I've ever come across. Very, very easy to use. Creates very good looking, good quality websites. And I only really want to point your attention to a few more here. Google Maps, Google Keep, which is basically the electronic equivalent of sticky notes. So students or teachers, in my case, can take notes and they appear on the screen as lots of different sticky notes, which can be expanded. Videos can be added to that. Photographs can be taken. Jamboard, a collaborative space for the students to work on, and Google Earth as well. So that's essentially my whistle-stop guide of Google Classroom. Hopefully that was of some help to you.